Private debt funding can be an attractive option for mid-sized or larger companies that need financing for projects, acquisitions, or other purposes. Unlike traditional bank lending, private debt lenders offer more flexibility in terms of loan terms, interest rates, and types of loans. Here are 10 things you need to know about private debt funding and private debt project financing. 1. What is private debt funding? Private debt funding refers to a form of financing where a private lender provides a loan to a borrower, usually a company or organization, with the expectation of receiving regular interest payments and repayment of the principal amount over a specified period of time. 2. What types of borrowers typically seek private debt funding? Private debt funding is often used by mid-sized or larger companies that require financing for projects, acquisitions, or other purposes, and may have difficulty securing funding through traditional lending sources such as banks. 3. How is private debt different from traditional bank lending? Private debt lenders are typically less regulated than traditional banks, and therefore have more flexibility in terms of the types of loans they can offer and the interest rates they charge. Private debt lenders also often specialize in specific industries or types of loans. 4. What is private debt project financing? Private debt project financing is a type of private debt funding specifically designed to finance large-scale infrastructure or other capital-intensive projects. The loan is usually secured by the assets or cash flows generated by the project, and the borrower may be required to meet specific performance criteria. 5. How is private debt project financing different from traditional project financing? Private debt project financing is typically more flexible than traditional project financing, which often requires the involvement of multiple lenders and can involve complex legal agreements. Private debt project financing may also be more expensive than traditional project financing, but can be quicker and easier to secure. 6. What are the benefits of private debt funding? Private debt funding can provide access to capital for companies that may not be able to secure financing through traditional sources. Private debt lenders may also be more flexible than traditional lenders in terms of loan terms and repayment schedules. 7. What are the risks of private debt funding? Private debt funding can be more expensive than traditional lending, and borrowers may be subject to higher interest rates and fees. In addition, private debt lenders may have less regulatory oversight than traditional lenders, which can increase the risk of fraud or other issues. DP funding mitigates the latter by giving you access to private debt lenders with stringent processes in place aimed at ensuring the successful delivery of funded projects. 8. How do private debt lenders assess creditworthiness? Private debt lenders typically evaluate a borrower's creditworthiness based on a range of factors, including their financial history, industry experience, and the specific details of the loan request. They may also use credit scoring models or other tools to assess risk. 9. How can companies prepare to apply for private debt funding? Companies can prepare to apply for private debt funding by putting together a strong business plan, financial projections, and other relevant documentation. They should also be prepared to answer questions about their industry, competition, and growth potential. 10. How can companies find private debt funding sources? Companies can find private debt funding sources by working with specialized lenders or by networking with investors and other financial professionals. They may also use online marketplaces or other platforms that connect borrowers with lenders. While all of this is true, it can be time-consuming and an uphill struggle. So here's a shortcut. If you're seeking funding for a project, we can help streamline the process. We have direct access to private debt capital, which means we can connect you with the lender and help you secure the financing you need. Contact us to discuss your project needs at contact.idpfunding.so.